Hello there. Good evening. Uh, Today the topic of conversation is going to be a Black Widow. I briefly touched base on this with a video I made a few days ago, and I kind of wanted to elaborate on that particular issue. Um, don't get me wrong. There are women out there that are quite attractive, and you know, there is a mystique about that type of thing. But the thing is, it wears off, and you know, I don't want to go with a woman who's going to change my opinions of the world and what's going on, and is going to narrow it down. Basically, all my findings, discoveries, new thoughts, my perception of the world. There are things that I'm not easily going to change my mind about. I mean, obviously, throughout my video selections, I have been wrong a couple of times. Most people are. Like, I thought poppies were made in China. They're not. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm still not wearing one. Anyway, yes, there most certainly is a woman out there. Many women, as a matter of fact, who would like nothing more but to close the doors to possible, adventures out there. And they don't look at it that way. They look at it as they just want to settle down. I don't want to do that just yet. There's, a lot to do and a lot of places to go. And I'm very confident that I can have a successful, career, life, and, go do things. And, I cannot have a woman just shut the doors on all that sort of stuff. For one thing, I'd get no respect. Um, you know, um, I'd have to take her word for it that she's on the level. I have no guarantees of that. Because people are very controlling and they can lie. And a lot of people think, well, this guy's, he's never been with a woman. He rarely even gets to touch women or even talk to them. So he'll melt like butter. And it's like, no, not exactly. I mean, sure, it'll be nice. But as I said, the mystique wears off. And, um, there are a lot of women out there that are cunning, manipulative, and mean spirited. Not all of them are like that, of course, but there's a lot of them that are. And, you have to be conscientious of that, especially for a guy like me. Um, yeah, I mean, because obviously things have got to change. And, here I am, and I don't, subscribe to a lot of things, and I really don't feel like being told what to do or how to think. Sure, some suggestions would be good, and having open dialogue, I'd really like that, because aisle silence, that's where I got sent to. Basically, it doesn't matter what I say, nobody ever says anything back. And after a while, it makes you, it would drive most people insane, because that's an understandable reason to go insane. But it didn't do that to me. I will persevere, but I really do not want to be, there's a chick out there, and I go out with this chick, and then all of a sudden all the other doors close, And, I'm left with her story. And what if it's not a good story? And, obviously the thought of, well, if I dump this chick, is another one going to come along? That obviously is going to be a thought in my head. I honestly believe that there's plenty of women out there. I could score chicks. The way I look, the way I spend money, the way I talk. I could score chicks. The only thing is I'm probably too good at scoring chicks, even though I don't have one. Because they have a tendency to fight amongst themselves. And, who even knows? That's a whole other can of worms, that is. I have no way of knowing that. I only know because of indirect evidence that supports this claim I've made. So, I have thought about it, and, I'm confident that, women, that won't be an issue in the future. And, it doesn't matter what some troll says on the internet. It doesn't matter, if my current predicament doesn't look as though it's going to change, because, there are people who see things happening. There's people that, don't want to accept things that happen. And then there are people that make things happen. And the winners are the people that make things happen. And, I'm going to score chicks. There's no doubt about it. I'm not one of these, this is a job I didn't want, okay? This whole thing. It's a job. I'm supposed to be representing the involuntary celibate crowd. And, it's not a job anybody would want. Those Black Widows. They're, they're kind of spooky, actually. Don't believe I've ever met one in my life, but, that's the whole point, is you don't know. So yeah, things like this, they keep me up at night. When really I should be going to sleep, because I got a dentist appointment first thing in the morning. How would anyone else feel in the reverse situation? It's absurd. There's as a hypothetical, if a similar situation were happening to a chick, where there are a bunch of guys, all wanting a piece of her, and they've put her in a crystal ball and no one's to touch her. She would probably not like the people who put her in the crystal ball. And, that's kind of I'm in a glass house here. That's kind of like what happened to me. But, I actually don't mind some of the women. Some of them I don't like. But, and the sooner I get to know them, the more reasons I'll have not to like them. But some are alright. But, I don't enjoy being in a glass house where everyone can see what I'm doing. Gets a bit creepy after a while. And that's why, the quality of my videos is, the range of topics is sort of this is, obviously a problem, and it's the most significant problem towards me. And, I could obviously try and forget about it, go about my business, whatever. And, it's not as easy as that. It's always, just creeping in the back of your head. And, I'm confident that I've, played my cards the best of my ability, and that, things will inevitably change. However, we'll see what happens. Because, it's fucking creepy. Anyway, talk to people later. Have a good one.